Okay, hello. Where I'm at with being vegetarian, and this is gonna be a bit confusing. I think I want to make a video talking about this so that maybe other people can relate and share their opinions, or discuss what they think and where they're at with being veggie or vegan. And also for myself, because I think I'm trying to make sense of where I'm at with it. So this might be a little bit confusing because I'm not even really sure how to articulate it. And hopefully by doing this, it will help me, because I've recently tried to tell people, like, it comes up in conversation at lunch breaks and stuff, and people say, "Oh, are you veg or are you vegan?" No, and yes, and I don't know. And then I just recently have struggled to explain to people, and not many people really understand, because it is a bit unusual maybe for them. So, okay, I've written a few things down, and one of the first things is why I went vegetarian. And this is the 10-year mark for considering myself vegetarian. And yeah, it was 2016, and I was going on a trip to the United States. And I kind of mark the 4th of July as the day I went vegetarian, because we got to the States on the 4th of July, which is obviously quite a memorable date. But that's, as I remember it. Basically, I did it because when I was younger, I would always avoid eating the meat on my plate that was given to me. And this was a chance for me. I was 19, and I'm living at home. I just eat what my parent was feeding me, and what the family was eating. But I would avoid. I'll be get to the meat, have meat and veggies, whatever, or pick out the meat and things like that. And the main reason growing up, I never really liked it much at all. I just didn't like the taste of most meats. And second, I've always just been an animal lover. So that's where it kind of started for me, was I just loved animals, and I didn't want to eat them, basically, is where it began. And then, I just took that opportunity, traveling independently on my own, to go, well, I can eat whatever I want now. And I remember I got a Subway from the airport, and I got the veggie patty Subway, and that was the first kind of, from here on, and at least during this trip, I'm not going to eat any meat. And then I just continued it on, and told my mom, and she was very, very nice about it. And she used to make all the best veggie meals and put a lot of effort into it, even though I think my family was kind of rolling their eyes about it a little bit. So since then, I had then slowly gotten more educated about the sustainability of not eating meat or not consuming meat, or the unsustainability of the meat industry and agriculture here. And I think that's what drove me to keep away from it. And that's kind of more so than eating animals, because I love animals. It became more about the sustainability and things, and how unethical the meat industry is here. One quick one, like beef is terrible, and well, not like terrible in the sense that like the beef industry is the biggest reason for land clearing in Australia, or in Queensland at least. And the water and the resources used to, feed these cows and the land cleared for it all is just not great. And I firmly believe that, and still now, that the meat industry, especially beef, is not in a very sustainable, environmentally friendly place. But I also understand that this country, Australia, is largely built around its meat industry and agriculture. So I see both sides, and where I'm at now is less of a approach towards it as othering each other, and more so I want both parties, vegan, vegos, environmental people, agriculture, farmers, that kind of culture. We need to come together, and we need to find a way that works for everybody. Because the idea that maybe I had originally becoming vegetarian was, no, we can't, the meat industry needs to go, but it's definitely not practical. And maybe in an ideal world, to help us restore the environment and the damage that it is done and it is doing, it would disappear. But no, I think a better approach would be to kind of find that middle ground and teach each other about what they believe in, and actually talk to each other and find somewhere where we can live in harmony, and it's going to be ultimately better for the environment. I feel like I'm going off tangent a bit than what I actually wanted to talk about, but I'm quite passionate about this, so it's going to happen. Farmers, I think, wherever it's beef or, crops and things, are going to benefit from a healthier environment around them. So if they can restore their farmlands and have better natural ecosystems and more trees and, clean waters running through their farms and things like that, they are going to benefit, and they're actually going to profit. And I think that is where I'm at too. And then, of course, I know not every farm in the country is cruelty free, and there are a lot of cruel practices. So I think I'd like to hope we have definitely made a lot of progress in that area in terms of what I see online with animal cruelty, but I know there's a lot more to be done there. Okay. Something else I wrote down is, why not vegan? And, I think I definitely teeter on borderline being vegan occasionally, because I do avoid dairy a lot because it upsets my body, and my body doesn't react well with like milk and cheese and things like that. I have always eaten eggs, and I do like eggs because I guess they are good for you, and honey as well. I know a lot of vegans don't eat honey because that's an animal product. I think a lot of people have different versions of what they do. I also think, and this might be, maybe I'm not educated enough, but I think money as well. Like, I've never been comfortable with money, I live week to week, and it's been like that for a long time. And grocery shopping has always just been what I can afford, like the cheapest option. And sometimes that's hard because the cheapest option is not always the most sustainable option. And yeah, that I guess includes products that wouldn't be classified as vegan. I think that my take on not being vegan is kind of a good segue into where I'm at with being vegetarian. I don't want to eat meat. I don't like eating meat. I know that humans are omnivores, and a part of our natural diet is meat. But I also know that the meat industry is not great. I think when I was younger, I was a little bit caught up in that, like, not caught up, but, you know, I more firmly believed that I could make a bigger difference with my diet. And obviously that is not true. I realized that a while ago. And I still believe that little changes can make a big difference. And I do encourage people to eat less meat. I think everyone could eat a lot less meat. I know people that can't go a meal without a bit of meat in it, or a day without meat, which is pretty insane if you think about it. And I could go on about that a bit. I definitely don't think when we were, you know, living off the land, our primal ancestors, I don't think we would have been able to always hunt for meat and eat meat every single day. I don't think that would have been the case. But anyway, that's not entirely relevant. My brain is like, yeah, going off a bit. Where was I? So, yes. What have I written down? Let's try and rein it in a bit. So I wrote not wanting to use the label vegetarian, but not purposefully buying meat, but being open to eating and trying it if I need. Now, I've definitely not been in the 10 years 100% no meat free. A big one was always like gravy. I think a lot of gravies, I just didn't know what it was made of. I know some gravies made with, like, I don't know, meat remain. I don't know. I don't even know. There's been 2 other times I can recall eating meat. One was I ordered the nachos and I was so hungry. I just gotten off this long train ride and I went straight to like the RSL and I was like, nachos, great, give me that. And I didn't read it properly. I saw that it had beans in it, and I didn't realize it also had mince. Came out, had mince in it. I just ate it. That was about a year ago. That was like September 2025. And then another time I've eaten meat is, there's this cool thing called Too Good To Go, which is where you can claim food that is going to be thrown out. It's like an app on your phone, and you just like have to be first in, best dressed, and some bakeries here do like a surprise bag, and I got one, and yeah, it had like a croissant or something with meat in it, like one of those cheese and bacon buns, and I ate it. And that was a big one for me because I was like, well, yeah, of course I would eat meat if it was going to be thrown out. Like, that's huge. A big reason I'm in this place with vegetarianism is because, yeah, I would 100%, if there was food being gone to waste, being thrown out, an animal that was bred and fed and grown and slain and processed and made it to the shops and then just being discarded for no reason, of course I would rather it, you know, be put to some use than it be thrown out. So yeah, definitely waste. I hate food waste. I hate food waste because I've been in positions where I could barely afford to grocery shop, could barely afford to eat for the week. And there's people around the world who, are not able to access food in the way that we are, and it feels so wrong to waste food. So yeah, I think not wanting to waste food is a big reason I want to be open to eating meat if I have to, and therefore not wanting to label myself as vegetarian. And for myself, I think that was quite hard. It's been like, I reckon over a year or so of this kind of processing in my brain and teetering with it. It's been quite hard, I guess, but I think I'm in a good place with it now. It's not a big deal at all to eat meat now. But I think for other people, and trying to explain that to people is so much more difficult if I say I'm vegetarian, but sometimes I eat meat. So I just am now kind of at a place where I don't tell people I'm vegetarian. And I had dinner with my family the other day, and I think a family member I hadn't seen in a while. "You're still veggie," they said. And I thought for like a minute, and I was like, yep, because I also just can't explain that to them. And I've also been veggie for 10 years. It would be like a bit of a confusing thing. So yeah, I guess that explains that. I hope I explained that well. A few other things I can talk about as well. Another one I don't enjoy is being specifically catered for when it's a choice and not like a health requirement. So I guess what I mean by that is I've been in situations where, say, we're having a dinner and, people are cooking, most people are eating meat, but maybe I'm one off, or one or two of us off that don't eat meat, and then I have to be like specifically catered for, or I bring my own thing and cook up my own meal, which that is totally fine. I would do that as well. And I don't like the first part. I don't like being specifically catered for, and like I feel like such a burden. And maybe that's something I would eventually get over, but it's been 10 years. I definitely don't feel any better about it. I don't like feeling like that, because it's not like eating meat would kill me, or give me an allergic reaction, or something like that. Whereas for other things like people that are gluten-free and have allergies and things like that, it's a different story. To them being catered for, that's like not something you can really help. So that's totally different and not what I mean. But I think, I don't like, as a vegetarian, being like a pain in the ass, I guess, for lack of a better term, just to make people cater for me. Yeah, where are we at for time? I think, I have quite plenty of time left. So that's a big one too. I think if I don't know if I'll get there, but maybe if I was going to a dinner party and get asked for dietary requirements, it's not a requirement, I guess. It's not. It's a preference, or I guess. Anyways, I guess depending on what it is, like if it was like a proper catering thing, like I went to a wedding this year and I put down vegetarian because plenty of other people would be vegetarian, and like there's a catering people. But if it's like my friends that are making me dinner, like if you're going, or your family making dinner, I don't like it. And I don't know if I'm at a place to say that I'm not. now that I think about it, if I was asked that. Yeah, but I want to try. And maybe I will try this and go back to being full on saying I'm vegetarian and using the label full on again. But we'll see. I'm definitely like, I just don't want to. I'm going to just try and not say that I'm vegetarian. But when I do my grocery shopping, I'm not going to buy meat. Yeah. Maybe the last thing to talk about is the label. Still on topic of the label of being vegetarian and vegan, is I do think those are putting people off from actually eating less meat. I think the term is the absolutism of being vegetarian and vegan, and putting that label on is, I think, actually stopping, maybe in some ways, or maybe now, these days, stopping a lot of people from eating less meat. Because a lot of people don't like it. Like a lot of people just do not like that, and they don't like being told what to eat. They don't like if, people are pushing their vegan or vegetarianism on them, even though you never do, and whatever. Anyway, different. But I think like committing to either being vegetarian or not being vegetarian and eating meat is like a commitment people don't want to make, but it's like you don't have to make that. You don't have to do that. You could do one day a week where you don't eat meat. You could just buy less meat and occasionally buy plant-based options. Like, you could go out to a restaurant every now and then. Every time you go, maybe you buy from the vegetarian options. I don't know. There's just ways to do it. Because, it's not like a religion, I think it's like the labels, I can only compare it to like, there are religions that are part of their religion is being vegetarian, that's different, but like choosing to be a vegetarian or vegan is not a religion that you have to commit to. So I think, and let me know if you're watching this what you think, we could let go of the labels a little bit of vegetarian and vegan and things. Because, the absolutism of those really pushes people away. And another quick one, hopefully I have time and space on my SD card, is obviously one person can make a huge difference, got distracted by a bird. Many people, many ants can take down the grasshoppers. Like, you not eating meat, and then however many people aren't eating meat and all that, and it is going to make a huge difference, and I believe it has made a huge difference. But at the end of the day, I think one term I've heard recently is there's no ethical consumption under consumerism. I think that is it, something like that. We are born into this society, and the climate of the cost of living right now is so hard. You've got to take it easy on yourself. And that's what I keep telling myself. I've got to, just take it easy. I can't fix the world. Maybe that's a whole other video talking about that kind of thing with environmentalism and where that can get you mentally. My small decisions will not change everything. So just take it easy. If you're a vegetarian, if you're a vegan and you've got you eat a animal product, it's not the end of the world. It's not a big deal. Because you've made a difference, and you are making a difference. I have 10 years of being vegetarian. Imagine, how much water. I've seen stats of that and of things, and being vegetarian this long saves this much water and all this stuff. Which I was better at this. I could have prepared and had a more of a formal video, but yeah, you are only one person, and you got to go easy on yourself and do what you can. Just do a little bit. Do a lot. Do a little bit. Do nothing, and then try and do something if you can, if you've got the space for it. I think, definitely the current state of things. Us, lower income folk, I'm talking to you, we don't have the capacity to really be doing as much as we can, and unfortunately we are the ones that want change, and we want things to be different. I think I covered everything in this video. Please share your thoughts below. I just talk and I don't know what made sense, so hopefully this made sense. If you agree, let me know. If you disagree, also share your thoughts. I want to, it's good. This kind of conversation is better to talk about it and break down walls and see where people are coming from and things like that. Yeah, I think that's it. All right. Thank you for watching.